Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses as we continue with part 38, Freemasonry at Sea, from Book the Second, The Practice of the Mystic Tie by Albert G. Mackey. Part 38, Freemasonry at Sea. I had the pleasure of hearing the worthy brother, Captain Nicholas Brown, relate the following anecdotes at a communication of Washington Lodge No. 5 in Charleston, South Carolina, where he was, like myself, on that evening a visitor. At the request of the lodge, he, the next day, committed them to writing, and they were published by Brother Moore in the Freemasons Magazine for July 1847. I shall not mar the effect of the relation by seeking to amend the simple yet truthful language of the narrator. When a young man, I was made a Mason in the Sea Captain's Lodge, No. 115, at Liverpool, England, 1808. In the year 1813, during our last war with England, I was returning home from Lisbon after discharging a cargo of corn and flour there, with my ship loaded with salt, about the 4th or 5th of April, at 10 a.m., 4 days out of Lisbon. I saw a large ship standing for me, which soon came near enough to reach me with her shot. When I hove to, she hoisted French colors, and proved to be the French frigate Arethusa, of 50 guns, Commodore Beauvais, commander, with instructions to burn, sink, and destroy all ships or vessels bound to or from an enemy's port. I was soon boarded by a lieutenant and 20 men with the frigate, all prepared to set fire to my ship. When the boat came alongside, I stood at my gangway, ready to receive the officer on board, gave him my hand, and led him into my cabin, where he examined the ship's papers. When I had further opportunity to make myself known as a Mason, he returned the recognition and looked on me with a smile I shall never forget, and said in broken English, "The Commodore is also a Mason. I will now go on board the frigate. You keep your main and mizzen top sails aback, and if we haul down our ensign, you fill your topsails and go home, and a good voyage to you." In the course of 10 minutes after the lieutenant got on board the frigate, down came the ensign, and I was soon before the wind, under a cloud of sail, and arrived home safe about the 30th of April. Had I not been a Mason at that time, there is not the least doubt that my ship would have shared the same fate of many others, destroyed by that frigate under the decrees of Napoleon. About 6 months after, I was taken by the British privateer Retaliation out of Halifax on a cruise. I then had command of a schooner under the Spanish colors bound to Windsor NS. They took my vessel and sent her to Halifax, and me they took on board the privateer, the men of which rifled my trunk of about all its contents, consisting of clothing and some money. In the course of the evening, the doctor of the privateer answered my signal as a Mason. When I informed him of the robbery, he took me by the hand and said, "Brother, fear not. Our captain and both lieutenants are Masons." I was soon invited into the cabin and treated with brotherly love and affection. Next morning at 8 o'clock, all hands were called to quarters, and when all were on deck, the gratings were put on, fore and aft. I was then called on the berth deck, while every man's bag and box were open, and the contents exposed to my inspection. I recovered all my clothing again, and instead of sending me a prisoner to Halifax, they put me on board of a fishing boat in sight of Portland, where I landed the next day, which was the 4th of November, 1813. The 3rd day, I was safe at home with my family. Had I not been a Mason, there is not the least doubt that I should have been sent to Halifax prison, without clothing or money, there to have stayed during the war. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.